Hey everyone, and welcome to day 31 in the Karen Reed case. What a difference 31 days make. 31 days ago, we had opening statements. We were promised by Hank Brennan, the special prosecutor, that he would bring all the evidence. Science and facts would prove beyond a reasonable doubt that Karen Reed was guilty. And he hasn't delivered on anything. Yesterday was probably the worst ever day in court I have covered. The entire day was Dr. Rensler. Dr. Rensler were there to talk about the injuries to John O'Keefe's body and how they proved or disproved being hit by an SUV. He was consistent with his testimony last year. He was consistent in his critique of Dr. Belcher, Mr. Blue Man Group. What he said was there is no way with any physical evidence that you can prove John O'Keefe was hit by a car. That has been the position of ACA since before they were hired, before the first trial, back when the feds were swinging the bill. And Brennan had to go up there and sow some kind of doubt in ACA's testimony that could potentially give the jury a reason to find Karen Reed guilty. That's not what he did. What he did was get up there and act more or less like a 5-year-old who weren't allowed to get the new G.I. Joe toy. I know Brennan is a defense lawyer. I know Brennan are not used to be on this side of an argument in a courtroom. There's a difference in the approaches you take if you're a prosecutor or you are a defense attorney. Defense attorney are normally a little more rough, a little more in your face. I talked about it way back when, where we had a discussion about will he be able to cross-examine people like a prosecutor, or will he turn into a whiny defense attorney? I didn't watch most of last week because I was on vacation. I've only heard snippets. I've heard how bad he was. This was the first time I saw him in action. This was a crucial witness, a witness that is articulate, a witness that is way better this time around because there weren't the same ties on him as there was in the first trial. He could fight more for his position. You could feel that ACA was hired by the defense this time, that they had talked to the defense, which is normal before any of you crazies out there go and say, well, they lied. I've seen those things online where, Aperture was truthful, but ACA lied. No, they didn't. Because contrary to what you think, Antis, ACA did deliver a report where you could go back and test every single little finding. Dr. Welcher delivered a report where he put blue paint on his arm and couldn't prove anything. And that was the big problem Hank Brennan ran into yesterday. You had a seasoned professional who has worked in high-pressure cases before that he wanted to grill, he wanted to trip up, and all he had was, did you laugh at Lally after your last testimony while eating a ham sandwich. That was the main attack point. He wants to make it nefarious that they use Signal apps and delete messages. Do you know that every piece of communication you have is encrypted? The only reason why we're using Signal right now is because it's the latest piece of encryption that hasn't been broken completely by the police yet. That's a way to hide your communication, because you don't want people like Trooper Proctor to get in and look into them before they have a court order to allow them to do that. He tried to claim that the crash test dummy was the wrong type. It's the one that's used in 93% of all tests, and the results would actually be worse for the Commonwealth if they had used a crash test dummy that would 100% represent John O'Keefe. I don't think Brennan understood that. I hope the jury understood that, because Brennan is... I don't want to sit here and just yell at him, because I could lose my... But I do that on stream enough. At some point yesterday, I actually think that he got so belligerent that he would cause a mistrial just to save face and get out of there. I've said that from the trial started, the best thing for Brennan after seeing how bad the case was the case to get dismissed. He could get out of there, wash his hands and say, well, I tried, but because of Proctor, there was no way we could win this trial. We still believe she's guilty, but we can't win this case because of Proctor. That would have been the best way for the Commonwealth to get out of Karen Read 2.0. And I actually think yesterday, Hank Brennan tried to throw the Hail Mary and get the case thrown out, because he was obnoxious. He was editorializing all over the place. He was talking over objections. When he had an objection, he'll just ask again. He was everything you don't want to have in a prosecutor. And still, because it's Bev's courtroom, she'll let it through. I actually think that Brennan hoped that Bev finally would do what's right and hit the Commonwealth. No. They allowed him to do his stupid little stick, and it'll bite his behind, I'm sure of. Is Karen Read out of the woods? Never, ever say never until the jury has talked, because the jury is its own beast. But there's no way on the paper that they can ever prove Karen Read did it. Brennan even admitted it. No expert can tell you how, when, or where. We will have charging conference today, which is just them arguing what is to be on the different lines in the jury instruction. We'll cover some of it. If it's not firework, well, we'll get out of here. Friday, we will have closing arguments, at least an hour per side, maybe an hour and 15 minutes. Let's see how it goes. Then jury instructions. If they can get out of bed, get out of the start block early enough, potentially the jury could have the case by noon Friday. Will it be a quick verdict? I don't think so. Last time it took days. This time I believe that the Commonwealth has made a worse job than they did the first time, but still, juries are juries. Don't sell the pelt till the bear has been shot, as we say in Denmark. I don't know. I always try and guess, and I'm wrong every single time. I think this could potentially, if the jury is a reasonable jury, we could have a verdict if we go to lunch and the jury has the case at lunch. If I was on the jury, I would have a verdict within 4 hours. But it's juries. We don't know. We'll probably have a verdict somewhere Tuesday next week. But come join us for jury instructions today if it's televised, and we'll see how much we'll do of that because it's a little boring. But Brennan, you got paid, man. I hope you enjoy your 30 pieces of silver because, oh my God, this was worse than Lally. You are a disgrace.